200 years ago, this barn would have been built to last a lifetime. And as you can see, that hasn't quite happened. After years of being battered by the Great British weather, this now abandoned barn is in desperate need of some serious help. And to make matters worse, within the last 4 years, a group of builders attempted to restore it. I now know they left the building in an even worse state than when they found it. But it's now our job to transform this forgotten piece of history into our client's dream family home. So watch us tackle every inch of this building, turning it into a modern home while keeping the beautiful characters to this barn that stood here for over 2 centuries. The roof is clearly unsafe, so the first job was to get the scaffolding up around the entire barn so we could see what we were dealing with. You can clearly see how neglected this entire building really is. And the more we looked, the worse it got. We knew it was going to be bad, but we didn't know it was going to be this bad. We've literally just started stripping this roof, and as you can see, so this is how bad the weather's got to all of this oak. So yeah, I think we're going to stop here, and then we're going to have to go back to the client and have a discussion and see what we do next. They're literally, look at that. That's a structural rafter. They are all knackered. This here is the ring beam which the roof is pitched onto. This is structural, look. So yeah, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board on this one and see what we can do. We've been on the phone to the scaffolder, and we're basically going to have a bird cage put inside the building up at this height so that we can still stand safely and work, because we can't continue stripping this section of roof until that bird cage is in. It's just not safe. So I think what we're going to do, strip back for now the safe bits we can get to. The left-hand side of this barn doesn't look too bad, so we're going to move on, go over that side and start stripping and see what we've got, but not a very good start. Well, I can tell this is already going to be fun, but that's why we love what we do. We are now continuing on the left side of the front elevation, which does look a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to start stripping, get some timbers put up so we can walk up as a ladder and investigate this bit. Not good.
From what we can see so far, this side is looking a lot better than the other one. So hopefully what that means is we'll be able to use a lot more of these rafters.
It's pulling it all up nice and flush. They obviously didn't want to buy felt, did they? Date is, can you see a date on the board? Oh, is it 24th of the 6th, 09? Yeah, look, it's 24th of the 6th, 09, 1945, 2009. Is it 16? 16 years. This is just getting us by until we get the bird cage put internally now. We know that this is not safe, but it's just a bit of a precaution. If we do have a slip, at least we can land on this. little progress update. So we've managed to strip, as you can see, right out to this ridge. We found it a lot easier. I'm stood on a platform with a lump of oak. So I'm just gently tapping from the underside to loosen everything, and then Aaron's just pulling it off, sliding it down, and it's going down on the ground. So we've been having a little think, and by the dates on the board itself, the firmer board, which is on the top of this, is 2009. So some of these are in very good condition, and some are okay, but not bad enough to take out. So we reckon that obviously these rafters have all been changed when they redone this roof at some point, but they only done sections of it, and I don't know why they didn't do that section. So now we've got to change of plan. So what we're going to try and do is push all this boards out from the inside, because we don't really want to risk standing on the rafters this side either. So we're going to stay from inside. See you in a bit. This is the fun bit, the demolition. Demolition before we start building this thing back up. Let's give it the hammer test. Yeah, we're all good. Right, so where I am now on this gable end, we're stripping this all back because just under here, there, somewhere there, that is where we're gonna form an opening for a Juliet balcony. We carried on stripping the roof, which eventually led us downstairs to where there was even more that we had to rip out. Over on the main side of the barn, it looked like there was a lot more usable timber that we could potentially salvage. So we stripped back the mouldy old plasterboard, leaving us with just the original oak frame. As you can see, the whole left-hand side of this building has been cleared. So we're now going to move over to the other end. Let's flip you around. We'll take you down there. Oh, it's already started. Aaron's already started. Okay then, as you can see, the bird cage has now been installed, which is going to enable us to continue stripping the rest of this roof. Aaron's up there now, cracking on. Let's get going. Going to start warming up. We've got a tin hat. We'll be like baked potatoes in an oven. So now that we have the majority of the main roof stripped back, it was time to start taking a closer look at the worst section of the existing roof. So you can clearly see that this needs a bit of attention. What we're going to do is basically go round once everything's stripped, get a list, get our pad, go round and number each rafter, which is going to need a bit of TLC. So obviously some of the rafter feet, we've spoken to the structural engineer yesterday. We're going to have some steel L brackets made, which we can bolt down to the plate either side of the rafters and bolt through, because the client is happy for this barn to keep its character. It's got metal straps. If you spin round and look, there is metal work underneath all of the A-frame beams. So it will be in keeping with what the barn actually looks like now. So instead of having to go to the lengths of replacing the plate and replacing the rafters, we're going to find a decent bit, put some L brackets through, and that should sort it out. So as you can see from this 6-foot level, we are 70 mil out of plumb from the ridge down to the window. But if you look at this existing beam down here, if I come off of that, hold that on there, you are about 110, 120 mil out of plumb. So I don't think there's going to be much level work done in here bar the window. Now that we had a better idea of what we was dealing with, we could carry on with the strip out.
Now that we've got most of the roof coverings off, we're gonna work our way through taking out all the really bad rafters so we can start afresh with new ones. But first we've got to work our way through getting rid of all this crap. Lovely, that's that gone.
But what happened next wasn't what we had planned at all. Just when we thought we were getting ahead, the job threw another curveball. Yep, that's right. At 2 PM we've decided to dig deep and just go for it. This section of roof had to come down. The only plan that we made was to get stuck in and get it down. And just like that, what started with Aaron kicking off the removal works ended up with us having to take down almost half of the existing barn roof. It is such a shame, but it just wasn't safe to keep it in. Roof is now gone. So we received the structural package back from the engineer. So what we're going to be planning on doing today is stripping out this beam,
This beam, this beam.
and finally these beams. So let's get cracking. Yeah, she's gone. I think it might be heavy, that. The plan was, when the structural engineer came out originally, because of this trimmer which the previous builders put in isn't to what he spec'd originally. It's supposed to be an oak beam running through, and then the plate was bolted to that, then hung. But obviously that's not structural enough. So we was going to then move this beam down below, but he's saying that because of the condition it's in, it's better for us to put a softwood beam through and then renew all them floor joists. So that's what we're going to do. Anything from this side of the building is not going to be visibly seen. So it's all going to be plasterboard from the inside basically. It's not going to have any oak beams on show. It might have the occasional one, but like explained before, if they really want to, we can always put oak plant on beams from the underside.
Now we got this big section out in the middle. It's the ends to do. I'm gonna cut along the top of these, and hopefully it should just push off as the end is so rock. Voila! Same thing again. Cut through this tenon here, and hopefully push this off. Job done. I'll make it look heavy. Right, I'm gonna need a wheelbarrow. $1965 them beams went in. It was stuffed in the mortise. See how good the weld was back then. Tunbridge versus Old Skinners. Bit of memorabilia. This was 60 years ago, isn't it? Exactly. What's the date? April 2nd, so we're not far off. So now I've got the tedious task of denailing these joist hangers, because we're going to look at reusing these timbers because they're absolutely fine. About the only timber we can salvage from this.
Like I've mentioned before, the previous builders installed these floor joists completely wrong. Unfortunately, they're just not structurally safe. You can see on the end gable wall, there is a joint right on the center post with just 2 timber locks on each trimmer. This is not ideal. There will be a fair amount of weight that will be coming down onto this floor from above, so taking it down was the right call. No way it would have been strong or safe enough relying on just 2 timber locks to hold this floor. After Nick, our QS, had left, it was straight back to sorting out the last of the oak to the gable end wall. Then myself and Aaron cracked on with removing the remaining oak tie beam and the old doorway. So the next part to be removed were these two rotten beams. Previous builders have actually pitched the new roof onto these, and you're probably thinking the same as me. How is it still standing? The roof that you can see at the bottom of the shot now is supported by the rotten beam. So we installed 6 acros to hold it up safely while we removed the old oak beams. So we got on with removing the old oak uprights to the gable end, as they have not been installed to the structural engineer's specifications. And as we had come this far, it made sense to remove them all now. The demolition seems to be never ending on this barn, but hopefully this will be the last of it. As you may have seen, things are changing daily on this barn build. Previously, we said we was going to be installing a softwood beam. A change was made as we realised it would be on show in both ground floor bedrooms. So we are now installing an oak 8x4 beam. Now we're going to go right through the centre. They're not coming out in a hurry, that's for sure. Just hope we've done it right. Of course we have. Solid. You can see now, obviously, where they're all set, bolted up nice and tight. What we do when we're all finished, we get some dowels made and we're infill all of these holes. So now we've got both beams installed and bolted into position. We are now going to get our big main beam, which is running across the top, into the work area so we can cut both ends and get that installed. Beautiful lump of oak. You ready? So, big beam is in. Aaron's just cleaning up that end so we can clamp the joints a little bit tighter. And then, as I said before, we're going to go down, in, lock this beam into the top of this post, and then we're going to come straight through, a couple of timber locks straight through into this one, and the same that end. That is going nowhere. Then, the next stage for us is to infill underneath with all the uprights and create our window openings again. Let's get going. Trouble with these timber lock bits, so much impact, they get stuck in there. With it being one complete piece of beam now, obviously it just pulls the whole building together and fixes everything. So we've got a nice rigid structure to work from. Say hello, Winnie. So reinstalling all of these oak uprights was a very time-consuming job, but it needed to be done properly. So we cracked on with marking out all of our mortises on the bottom of our sole plate. Because of all of these uprights are all different sizes, each mortise and tenon had to be marked and measured individually. So basically we cracked on, mark, cut, install, repeat. This was a very slow process, but important we got it right to strengthen up the gable end. As you can see, the floor joists are all installed. We have just completed all the noggins, so that is basically pulled it all together nice and tight, made it real structural, solid. So what we're going to do now, we are waiting for the client to arrive because we're going to jump downstairs and start setting out all the stud work for all the rooms. Right, so what we've got here is, this is a little downstairs bedroom here, but there's not really a lot of space for storage. So what we are going to be doing is creating a little recess in this stud wall, which is going to come into the main bedroom, 350 mil, 300 mil, I think. And then basically this, from this side, it's going to be used for shelving, for storage for all the kids' toys and stuff. And the opposite side, then the wardrobes will continue through and all be bespoke and built in nicely. 2, 1, 1, 3, centre. Right, and then we're going to leave 1230 here. So we go 615 that side, there. And then we'll do a half lap there, timber there. Go 1230 there. What you can see me marking out here is the new doorway to the master bedroom. This is going to be a 2'6" door. We like to allow a 2'9" opening to our stud work to give us room for packing when installing our door linings. Now we're moving on to marking out the doorway for the new ensuite. Checking the plans with my scale ruler to make sure we're as close to the architect's drawings as possible. This 2'3" door now starts 850 mil from the external brickwork. Now we have all of our openings marked out, it's time to get these sole plates fixed down. Being mindful not to fix down in between the door openings.
So always when you film it, don't go in.
Yeah, I was just about to say, every time the camera goes on it, don't want to go in. Okay, so Aaron has fixed down the plate for this main bedroom. We have also marked out the main door for the bedroom is here, 2'6", and then you've got another door which is 2'3", which is going to come through in to the main bathroom / ensuite for that bedroom. Another thing, obviously the drainage was done by previous. This is the main wall for the kitchen, dividing the kitchen to the bathroom. So these are all concreted in, and as you can see, this soil stack is supposed to be up tight to this wall. Obviously we're quite far out, so we may have to do something with this, gun the floor up and try and move this over so it's tighter to the wall, and then we can box it in nicely inside the bathroom. So what you can see us doing here is stapling some DPC onto the bottom of our sole plates. Because we are fixing straight onto the concrete slab, this stops moisture creeping up into the wood and therefore extending the lifespan of the timber. So when installing our stud work on all of our sole plates and our header plates, we like to use half laps, which basically, I believe, it ties the stud work together a lot better than what it does when you just butt the two timbers together. So as you can see, we're running a skill saw through the timber multiple times, knocking off the excess timber, cleaning up with a hand plane and getting the joint nice and flat. So then we simply repeat this process on our sole plate using a skill saw, chisel and hand plane. So now that the half laps are done, we can now install our final sole plate, which divides the stairwell to the ensuite. Right, so we've got all our sole plates down with our DPC stapled to the underside. Now what we're going to do is crack on, we're chucking on a time lapse and crack on with the stud work up to the first floor height. So as day one draws to an end and we start to make some really good progress, it's full steam ahead into tomorrow. The big day where we finally put a roof back on this stunning oak barn. It's definitely not going to be easy. I just hope we can actually get it done. Right, so today we are joined by Toby and John Z, aka Sam. We are going to be starting installing this roof. So as you've seen and we've talked about before, it's not going to be straightforward. So we've got the boys in, we're going to rattle our heads together. We're going to start getting some cripples and that set, ready for our ridge. Stay tuned, let's get going. So first things first, we're going to get this tower set up to make sure that these boys can work safely and get up to the height that they need. So after a lot of head scratching, throwing ideas back and forth and plenty of banter, we finally had a plan together to get cracking. So the plan was as follows. Once we agreed our finished ridge height, we was then able to work out the finished height for our cripple studs using a laser level. These cripples will take our new structural ridge, which means we can then start to work out all of our rafters. Right, so this gable which we're building off of this tie beam, so basically this had 150 mil lean. So what we've done, we've cut the braces out the way so that we can get this back upright, which basically we're going to put a plate through the bottom, which you can see there, which is going to be central. We're going to have a quadruple stud, which is going to go up and pick up our ridge beam to take the rest of the roof. Looking at this ridge line, it looks like it's been installed by someone that's had a few too many Stellas. Obviously this is going to be a challenge, but there is nothing that we can't overcome. So now we're going to install our 3 cripples, getting them braced up, making sure that they stay nice and plumb for when we install our ridge.
Add to me a bit more, touch more, a bit more, tiny bit more now. Yeah, that's it.
Right, okay, so when I said cripple, this is what the cripple is. So basically, the boys have just installed this, nice and plumb, both ways, and then they're gonna put another one in the middle and another one at the other end, and that is gonna pick up our ridge. Aaron's now adjusting the original A-frame one last time just to make sure that everything is spot on before we fix anything together. Once again, more head scratching, trying to figure out what we are going to do with the new wall plate, as the existing ring beam is far from straight. So the idea is for us to try and get our new plate as straight as we possibly can and our new rafters to run through nice and straight. Now it's time to start getting our first rafter cut. This process always takes a little bit of working out, but for our very first try, she's looking pretty good. And after a little bit of adjusting, we've got it. To try and fix the issue of this massively bowed roof, we decided to use an acro underneath the purlin to force this roof back up to its natural position. If you look closely, you can see the crack in the beam slowly closing. If you watch this time-lapse clip, you can actually see how the acro gets rid of the bow in this entire section of roof. End of day 1 on the new roof. Doesn't look like much progress has been made, but given how tricky this was, we've made some very good progress. Everything is in position and straight, ready for us to get in there and smash it out tomorrow. Okay, so right, you can see progress has been made. So yesterday we spent a bit of time getting everything prepped. So today we are going to fly through, infill this section. We've set out for the V-Lux on the other side, and we're going to fly all these joists in and get the gables built up as well. So now that the boys have their patterns cut for both sides of the roof, it's time for them to get cracking, mark, cut, repeat, and so on. Okay, so this afternoon we're going to have a big push and get the remaining rafters installed, the end gable built with the windows in for both bedrooms, and we're going to take a look at starting to build the internal dividing wall with the 2 doorways into both bedrooms as well. So what you can see us doing here is stripping off the existing ply which has been left open to all weathers. So the reason we're stripping this lot back is to try and see whether we can straighten up this bottom section of the existing roof to run in line with our gable end. Did you get that?
I don't get you.
Right on the lip. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look, that's not fixed. Look, that's not fixed, Aaron. That wall, they haven't fixed to nothing. So obviously it's a good job that we are taking this off to make a better job, because we're actually seeing what's not fixed and what is. So now we know we've got a little bit more work to do just to add to the list. We need a little blade change. Out she comes. This is what I mean. You start opening things up, nothing's fixed.
20 minutes off our this infield, not what we'll be on ladders.
You heard that? I'm going to put a timer on. He said, what was it? 15, 20 minutes. Timer's going on, real life. Watch this space. It's coming. 11:53. Right, 20 minutes from now. Let's go. Timer's on.
Stop for a cuppa. Yeah. Someone put the kettle on.
It's all right. There's no pressure here. No pressure. As long as the job's done.
It's got to be done right, isn't it?
Yes, mate. There's no pressure.
But yeah, we'll take the L. We'll take the L.
As you can see, we've had a brilliant few days here, so I just want to thank Toby, Sam and Ash. That's the one, Ash. So obviously these boys are mustard at what they do. So if you need any roofing work, any carpentry work, give Toby a shout at LAC Carpentry. We're almost there. A few little odds and sods to tidy up, but yeah, thank you very much, boys. So the last thing, we're going to jump onto the end gable and get this stud work fully infilled. So we've got new blade day today. We have cut a hell of a lot of timber using the other blades so far. So we're just setting up. Trender sent us out some lovely new blades. We're gonna set both saws up. We're gonna get cracking. Okay, so you would have seen a few days ago, me and Aaron got the sole plates for all the bedrooms downstairs formed. Then, the last few days we've been very busy working on the roof, getting that pitched. But now the roof is all pitched, it's time for us to jump back on here, start putting our triples in for our staircase and finish off building these stud walls. Okay, right, so this is the last bit of demolition, we hope. So what we've had to do is replace the ridge because it had just snapped on the end and there was a big kink in it. It just wasn't structural. So we spent a bit of time. We've put some extra posts underneath the plates. We've installed a new ridge beam after taking the old one out, which was quite tricky, but we managed to get it done. The boys are now going to continue, start getting all of these old rafters fixed up. The reason we haven't taken it right down is to save the client some money. If we can keep it in, it might be a little bit trickier, but it's still going to be a lot cheaper than replacing the whole roof. So we've got a slight issue here, whereas the client is unhappy with the colour of the oak. So as you can see, we have a dark section here, we have a light piece of oak here, or we've got a mixture of the both, new and old. So to fix that, today we have Anglian blasting. So what we've got today is the old and the new beams getting sandblasted. So the guys are getting set up inside. We're going to do a couple of test samples for the client to see, who will be arriving very shortly. Today is a huge turning point on the Derelict barn project, a day I've been waiting for a long time. As you have seen, that this barn has been left open to the elements for so long, it has some severe water damage, which has turned the oak really black. So these boys from Anglian Blasting have arrived and they've set up their compressor ready to get cracking. But before the boys could go full steam ahead, my client really wanted to see what the transformation would be like before they went ahead and done the whole barn. So the lads from Anglian Blasting done a small section to the front porch area just in time for my client to come and give the A-OK that she was happy for them to proceed. So now that we are all good to carry on, the boys get cracking, starting with the rafters first. So obviously once they start with all the old oak, they work their way from the roof down to the sidewalls. So every bit of oak in this building is being cleaned up by these boys. As you can see from this footage, it's an extremely dusty job. But us boys, we're not kitted up like these men. So what we're going to do is throw you on a time lapse and you can watch this barn get transformed. As you can see, sandblasting is now complete. We are looking fresh. This sandblasting may have took a whole week, but boy, it's made such a huge difference and it's really brought these beams back to life. Okay, so we are now on to the fiddly bit. I haven't been looking forward to this, but as you can see, Scott has jumped in to give us a hand attacking this roof. So as you are aware, this roof is all over the place. So there's ups and downs on all the rafters. So for us now, we are working out our boards to work nicely to the top of the ridge, getting plenty of screws in this, because like I say, plasterboard in first. We're going to tape and joint it from the inside. So yeah, Scott's made a good start. So today's task is to see how much we can get done. So obviously you may be able to see on the camera, but the dips and stuff for these boards, so all we're trying to do is get this plasterboard down as tight to the beams as we can. We are having to put little scores in the back, so it helps us fold it round so they sit nice and tight. But yeah, it's a first for us, putting the plasterboard upside down from the top of the roof. So what we've got doing, the boys are over there putting the plasterboard or finishing the plasterboard on the existing oak onto the roof. Aaron is extending, obviously this previous roof was done by others. We've got a slight discrepancy from here to our new roof we've done. So we're going to extend the rafters up to there. Then obviously when it's tiled, it's going to come down nicely. And then the boys have got a lot of OSB, 11mm, which they are now going to start boarding on top of this, ready to take our warm roof.
Right, so what we're doing here is extending this existing roof, the lean-to roof, which was done by previous, onto our new roof, which we pitched a couple of weeks ago. And all we're doing is planting some 2x2 on the side, nice and flat with the top of the rafter, up into here, screw into our new rafter up here. And when we apply, we'll finish there and then go up there.
And what Aaron actually means by up there, he means that the ply is going to run up to the top of the ridge.
All right, Dan, I knew what I meant. I'm sure the others will too, I think. And repeat.
The boys are making a start now on installing the OSB ready to take our warm deck, but what we've got may look a bit odd on the camera, but we've got a bigger overhang here and less of an overhang up there. That is because these existing rafters which are installed were out of square. So for us to make the board sit nicely, we're going to run up square with the existing rafters and then cut all of these back square with the outside of the building after. Then we can create our curbs and our new sprockets going on top. You're probably wondering why we're putting ply above this roof. The reason for this is because this section of roof is getting plasterboarded from underneath, as opposed to the other side where all the oak beams are exposed. Right, so it's all starting to look a little bit pink. So, warm roof, plasterboard from above, which leaves us with these joints. We try and keep the boards in best quality as we can. Obviously, we're trying to get them from the ground, lifted up through the scaffold. So, what we're going to be doing, instead of plastering all in between, these are all going to be tape and joint, which means we have a scrim tape over top of the joint, and this gap between here and here will get filled with filler, rubbed down smoothly, then all of these will be decorated in between the oak beams. So there's a lot of work involved after we're installing these. So getting all this boarding on the roof has made a massive difference. It's actually starting to look like a barn again. Getting this roof all boarded was not easy, but many hands made light work. And I think we've absolutely smashed it. Hope you got that on camera. That was lucky. Below this ply is a Velux trimmed out opening. So what we like to do is use a downward spiral cutting bit on a router. We drill a little hole through, we send that in, and that will follow the trimmer all the way around, and it will just drop straight through. So that is how we trim out for our openings using a flush cutter. Now we've had a little workout and we've worked out exactly where our little returns are coming for the door openings in the bathroom. We know exactly where that's going. I'm just going to shout some measurements down to Aaron. He's going to chuck us up some noggins for our sole plates to sit on and to pick up for our floorboards. And then we can get cracking with putting sole plates on and start building this stubwork. Okay, so we've had a lot of thought and we've had some changes. I've spoken to the client and the architect. We've altered the way that this door opening works, but we've sussed it now. So me and Aaron are gonna crack on, get all the half laps done, sole plates down, and get this stubwall up. Whilst we've been busy inside, John and Luke have been smashing out the install for all of our oak sprockets. These two boys are incredible at what they do, and it is a real pleasure to now have these two on board. Sprockets are now installed, as you would have seen, but the boys have been flying through and they was that fast I didn't get any snips of them fitting our kickers as discussed. So the kickers are going to slow the water down when it comes down from the roof on the tiles. But on top of this, obviously the boys have gone through, got all of these fitted and installed nicely. Put all of our plumb cuts in, all of our soffit cuts in, open eaved as discussed. So obviously when you look up, it's all going to be nicely finished with oak lay boards on the top of here with an oak tilt fillet. Then we go with our roofing. But you're probably looking and going, wow, this is a bit up and down. But we don't want to lose the character of this barn. So the roof up and down, I'm happy with that. But what we have had to do to compensate that, where this roof goes in, we've compensated on making a bigger kicker so that it gives us a nice level, all of these, all the way from one side to the other, are level, so that when we come to put our gutters on, it's gonna help us massively. So if we didn't do that, we'd have, as you can see here, you would have nothing to fix the gutter to. You'd have no plumb cut. We've had to make bigger kickers, then our lay boards will go on top of this, then our tilt fillet, and so on. But next plan of action is we've obviously got a bit of vapor barrier underneath here. The whole roof is going to be vapor barrier taped up lovely. We have got our curbs round the Velux, so this curb here, then our insulation is going to finish flush with this, which is 140 mil. And then what we got, once that's done, you come follow me, follow me, follow me. We have another curb, which is going to run up the end of our roof, up the end of our gable, which is here. We have put these on to take our final board, but with the build up of the walls, we've got 25 mil counter batten, 100 mil Celotex, another 25 mil counter batten, then our weatherboard. So what we'll do is once we've done all this installation, this will give us our finish point to cut these back, and then the feather edge can run right up through to our verge, 50 mil overhang with our tiles, and it's gonna look just beautiful. After getting all of our sole plates set out for this bathroom yesterday, it's finally time to smash the rest of this stud work in and get it all complete. Well, we hope.
So what the boys are doing now is putting some furring pieces on this end gable. So as you can see here, when we put our new gallery window beams in, we've had to put them upright so our windows don't look bad. So they're furred from the top down to the bottom. We're going to put some pieces up here to meet it, and over here you can see it's really bad. So we're just going to do our best we can to straighten it up. So we've got our first load of our roof insulation. Poor guy's at park at the top of the track because he can't get his lorry down here. Just another 2 loads to go. No, 3 loads to go.
Well, that was a traffic jam and a half. Finally, we're at exciting stages of windows and doors. We've got Rob from RJ Joinery down, and we're going to go through and start making a plan of how we're going to, basically the build up of these windows and doors, and we will let you know as we go through what we come up with. So it didn't take long before we realised that this wasn't going to be a straightforward task. Do you want to get a laser level? Because it might be good just... Either that's 20 mil out of plumb or the laser level's fine. Is that the same as, or? Well, going by that, from this point here, we're about 12 mil out of plumb.
It's almost bang on that shoulder.
Issue number 2 that we keep going on about. So, we have got our existing oak beams sitting on our sole plate, but these oak beams around the whole building are sat at different distances from the external edge. So, what we've basically got is 25 mil counter batten going on the back of our plasterboard. This will allow our cables for our electrician to run through to all of our points. It go round the barn and pop in wherever the points may be. Then, once the electrician has done that, we have 100 mil Celotex, which is going to be fixed. Ignore this, I know it's the wrong way round, but I'm just doing it as an example. Celotex on. Then we have another counter batten on, which means we have this gap on the outside. How are we going to deal with that yet? Not too sure, but I think we're going to have to end up putting a stub seal around the barn to match all the different distances apart. So that's going to be a bit of a tricky situation, but we can do that from the outside after. Issue number 3 on the windows. We simply haven't been left enough material on this oak for it to finish nicely. So basically, we're going to build these out with softwood to the front of our battens. The windows will then be installed. We will then put a timber frame, picture frame, right the way around the outside of the window, which will allow us to cut all of our cladding into and finish nicely. Like always, John and Luke have been grafting away in the background, trying to get these furring pieces sorted to our gable end. So it's Friday on site today, and unfortunately we cannot progress any further with the last couple of little bits of the stud work. So here we've got a wardrobe being built, but we're unsure how deep the client wants it. So we've also got one there which has got to be built, and obviously access from the bedroom that side. Then you come in through the bathroom, and here we've got a 450 deep vanity unit which is going to run round, fully bespoke. So it's going to be run round here, run round along this wall, and you're going to have the basin in there. I think the basin's there or here. I think they're undecided, so we've got to ask them that question. But obviously we are governed by the depth of this, so I need to find out from the client what they'd rather. Try and reduce the depth of this unit in here to give them more space in the wardrobe, or we keep it as it is and they have to fold their clothes up and stack them from this side. But obviously, yeah, we can't crack on until the clients come out, but the boys are cracking on outside, so we'll jump out and show you what they're up to. So John is carrying on with the furrings we was talking about yesterday. So once this is complete, he's literally got this side of the gable to fur down right to the bottom there. And then what they're going to be doing is jumping on with the curb on this side. So get the curb for the roof put up here, then continue, once Aaron gets back with some more green oak, continue making all the sprockets to carry on for the front elevation. And then we're almost ready to start putting the Celotex on. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I think you boys have forgot something. Don't worry, we all make mistakes, but the vapor barrier is now on. We are on the final run with these oak sprockets. So the boys are now finishing off the front. Hopefully today we will get it all prepped up and ready to start the vapor barriering and the insulation. But the boys are doing the same procedure as they did at the back. Screw down all the sprockets on top of the roof, put a string line through from one end to the other. Then we put our kickers in, because where the roof obviously differs, all rafters dip in and out. We're doing each individual kicker to come back up to this line. Then we can carry on with our lay board on top of that, which is seen from underneath as explained, and then we can get cracking with the insulation. This is dedication to the cause. So, all this, so we can climb up the roof to get the vapor barrier installed and then the Celotex in. Then we've got to put the counterbattens on. So hopefully this is going to help me walk up the roof. You can hold yourself anyway, doesn't it, really? Well, I can't hold myself, pull up and tape everything up. Oh, mate, it's easy. Hey, professional. I might have gloves on though, do you reckon? Mate, that's a lot easier, isn't it? Oh yeah, definitely gloves. That's, it gets hot. yesterday we got stuck into installing this warm deck. There wasn't much filming going on because we was trying to work out and suss out how it was going to go. Because the roof was up and down, we literally got stuck in, put a vapor barrier down, got the insulation or the first layer of insulation down, second layer on, and started installing our counter battens. Obviously the counter battens are acting to clamp this insulation to the existing rafters, which have worked very well. It's taken a lot of the dimps out, but it looks really good. So, if you can remember, when we went back, we showed you the build up of this roof. Plasterboard, vapor barrier, insulation, counter battens. The counter battens are on because...
Yes, we know, Dan. You've told us a million times before.
So for now, we're going to chuck you back on the camera, the other side of the roof, and we're going to get cracking.
Oh, Luke's favourite tool. Giving the roof a good blow off.
So obviously this isn't straightforward. 50-degree pitch. I'm thankful we've got this little cat's eye here because it's not so steep. I've got my grippy boots on. Obviously, as you can imagine, trying to get all of this vapor barrier over, take down, and the roof's dusty, it's great fun. Here he is. Whee! Oh, we've got a greenhouse. We're putting it back to how we found it, just with a green bit of plastic instead of black. The hardest bit of this is getting it up here, isn't it? From down there, up through the scaffold, up through the barn, up through the scaffold and onto the roof. Oh, just love it when that happens. Right. Oh, hell of a mess. Let's start again. Right. Oh, yeah. Right, so we've just finished the back of the Celotex in. Me, John and Luke have now jumped around the front to finish off the mounty slope. So we're going to start by putting our sprockets right through, vapor barriers on, and then we're going to suss out how we're going to get this Celotex on. Roof is now Celotexed and counterbattened, and boy am I glad that is done. Out of the harness, back onto solid ground. So the boys are just continuing now because we stopped the full sheets of Celotex at the top of our rafter feet. So the boys are just going through now and infilling the small cuts on the bottom to follow in line with the walls below. So the boys are going to continue doing that while the boys are around the back putting the lay boards on. The boys will jump down and start counterbattening all of the walls where every upright is, where the oak is. We will put an upright of counterbatten to allow for the electrician to put his cables in. And then we can sellotex the walls, get the walls all complete. We've had a slight change of plan. So originally we said we was going to have T&G boards here, which would be 2 boards with a groove through the centre. But what we've decided to do now is do it as in 1 plank, so that if there is movement and shrinkage from underneath, you won't see that open joint. So the boys are going to crack on and get this layboard whole way round this whole building. We are back inside today out of that miserable weather from yesterday, and we are installing the plasterboard to the gallery floor. So we've made a start, plasterboard on first, and then we've got a load of 4x2s downstairs, which we're going to build a false floor on top of this, so that enable us to get all of our services through, i.e. electrical, pipe work for all the rads. So me and Aaron are going to get cracking, and the boys are downstairs doing our cuts, pass them up through the floor. Let's get going. It's a little bit sketchy. It feels weird walking on plasterboard.
He wouldn't fall for it anyway, he'd bounce.
What do you mean? This fine figure's made for the building trade, see?
More meat on a chip.
More meat on a chicken's lip. You may be thinking, why are we putting the plasterboard on first? Because we've got open beams. So from downstairs, you're going to see the whole depth of the oak floor. It's going to look just beautiful.
Sound like bloody Tasmanian devil down there. Right.
Do you want me to walk across?
To me? Yeah.
To you.
Oh. Bit of jiggery pokery. Oh, John.
Oh, John.
Oh, yeah. Didn't take into account that it's got that saw again, please, mate.
Oh, like a glove. Oh, this tool. Absolute game changer. Right, so you have just seen us install the plasterboard to the ceiling for the gallery. We've now installed the 4x2s to the gallery floor. This is a false floor because basically we're going to have our services running from left to right. So we need to get radiators up and all of our electrical downlighters for the ceiling below. And now what we're going to do, we've just set out for our noggins. So we're going to get a row of noggins through here, row of noggins through that side. Then it's going to be ready to install the flooring, but temporary because we still need to lift it for access. Right, so the boys are busy flying around all over the place, just trying to get every little bit tidied up inside the barn before we move back outside. But we've got Luke here at the moment, prepping up, ready for our big beam, the oak beam, which got delivered yesterday or the day before. So the aim is, Luke's getting that set now, it's got to be mortise and tenon into this beam to take the wiggle out of this stub wall where the staircase is going to go. And once that beam's in, we can then install all of our oak uprights from bottom beam to the original top beam. And the boys are obviously just finishing off the last little bit of stub work to the bathroom upstairs. Then once this beam's in, we can finish that bit, which will close off everything inside. All right, come on then, boys. Luke's going to start prepping this up, getting it ready to install. This end here is going to be cut nicely so it sits up nice and tight and mortise and tenon into this beam to stop this motion so that this wall can't do this. So we fix it down to that, and then we put clamps and everything on that end to the existing floor joists. But because of the green oak, it is going to move. We have to fix it, obviously. I'm just trying to come up with a way that if the oak does move, it will move but not pull the softwood floor joists. So what I've come up with these Simpsons strong ties, but they're adjustable. So we fix that fully to the softwood, and then we go through with a penny washer and just a 50mm screw into the oak. And then obviously if it does move the oak, it hopefully will pull side to side and won't move the floor joists.
Stick you on a time lapse, I'll catch you in a bit.
The old boys have been cracking on with our battens on the walls outside. Right, I disappeared and I've come back, and the boys have been flat out getting our counter battens installed. These battens are being installed directly behind the beams from internal side because we need a depth of a minimum of 35mm for our back boxes, because that is the internal wall between the beams. The electrician's going to need his 35mm to get his fireproof metal back boxes installed. That's right, so these are all fireproofed as well, because they're going to be along the back of the insulation, which sits directly on this. As explained to you all previously, this is the first layer of our build-up. So this is the first counter batten at 25mm. We're then going to have our 100mm Celotex directly onto these battens. We then follow suit, so everywhere these battens are, once the insulation's on, we'll have another batten which will be screwed through, fixed to this, ready to take our oak feather edge. We've got this detail here once again, so once we've got the insulation on, we're going to build this out to meet the last counter batten so that our feather edge can run through and run in line with the inside of our windows. The boys have also finished these last little bits alongside the rafters, because obviously our insulation from the wall has got to come up and butt up with this. Then once that's done, we've got, like I said, another counter batten coming on the front, which our feather edge will finish lovely and flush to the back edge of this. It'll look beautiful from underneath.
Don't you just love that sound?
The boys have absolutely smashed it on the counter battens. They have got from the porch on the left-hand side all the way down here, all the way along this gable end where the Juliet balcony is going to be, and then they've got down to the rear of the big gallery opening on the back of the barn. That's all complete. Now what they're going to do is get themselves set up at the opposite side and get smashing and get that finished, and then we're ready for the Sparky next week. Got a tappy stick. It's just beautiful. I bet you was at home all weekend, Luke, when you're designing this. Like woke up 3 o'clock this morning like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this morning we've got Jason on site for the first time starting the first fix, which is, Jason, you're looking forward to it, mate?
Absolutely, always.
Always looking forward to it.
I'm always a happy, smiley person, especially the first day on a job.
It wasn't 10 minutes to go, but hey. So yeah, Jason out there basically sorting out their runs because half of the barn we've rebuilt and it's all new stud work, which is easy to run cables in into the fuse board, etc. Whereas this side of the barn, we cannot get cables clipped up the face, clipped up all this lovely oak work. We do not want to see anything. So Jason's trying to work out runs. He's got to go up on this side of the barn, over the roof, all in ducts, and then back over down to each light fitting and each socket out point. So he's got his work cut out, but I'm sure we'll get it sorted. So the dry liner's supposed to make a start this morning. It's 8:45. I've been on the phone to him for the last 40 minutes and he can't find it for some reason. But I'm hoping he turns up soon because he's got a lot to do. And then just turn right and then that'll bring you to our site. Yeah? Are you on that track, are you? Yeah, just stay down that track. As long as you stay to the left-hand side, you can't miss it. All the way to the bottom, then it doesn't go any further. That is it. So we've just rattled our heads together and we found out a run to get our services. So we want our feeds and stuff to power the gallery and the lighting feeds to above there. What we've come up with is Jason's brought some metal trunking which we're going to bolt down and fix to the floor, which comes from the stud work side where the fuse board is going to go. So that means we can get the cables from the fuse board through the stud work nice and easy, drop down to the floor, send it across in this metal duct under the insulation. So we're going to insulate either side of it and then 30mm of insulation over the top of it. That way the cables are protected in a metal box.
This is the first
wall light,
down light, up light,
spotlight, whatever
spotlight, up light. Let's see how good these bits are.
There's one.
Can't see daylight though.
You will do.
Still can't see daylight.
You've got insulation, 140 mil of insulation. Don't get my things dirty. Also, the joiner has finally arrived and he is going to start cracking on. So we've done a lot of prep work here. So wherever the joints are, we've gone round, put some paper on and taped up the beams to help protect as much as we can. Wayne's here now, he's going to get cracking with this, start filling all this. So we'll chuck you on a time lapse and watch him work his magic. After a busy day yesterday, we was all running around this barn like headless chickens trying to suss out runs for Jason the electrician. So we've managed to get our runs and that organised for all our lights, our power, our switching points, our power points. So plan of action is Jason's put all of his cables running around the outside of the barn and then laid up the Celotex and poked them through all the new spotlight positions. So we've got spots shining up the oak beams, which is going to look lovely, all zoned off on their own switch, and then spots shining down. So everything's zoned separately, so you're going to get the real wow factor from when you start turning on individual zones. It's going to light up different areas. What I'm going to do now is where Jason's put the cables through, I'm then going to pull them back out and I'll show you what we're going to do. So as said, Jason has poked his cables into all of our spotlight positions. But because we can't get everything's on show inside, there is no way of us hiding the cables. So what we've had to do is bring everything out of the building, in between the counter battens, and then up onto the roof. So what I am doing, my job, is to pull these back out, feed this duct in, up the cable, or down the cable. That's gonna lay in the center of here, and then we're going to clip this conduit all the way down so it's safe and it protects the cables. And then obviously we've got our breathable membrane and the counter battens, the tile battens for the roof. So we've got that at the end of there. Back into the house. But what we have got, we've had left over from previous job, these, which are insulation clips for underfloor heating pipes. So what we're going to do, put that on there, push that down. That will hold all our ducts in position so they're not wiggling around and they're all firmly fixed. And what we're being careful of is we're going to have to warn the roofers because there is cables. This is not your ordinary way of doing electrical works, but when you're working on a barn and there's no runs and you don't want any cables on show, you got to do what you got to do, but it works. So that's the main thing. That one's done. I'm going to continue and do the other 150 of them. So this is our new fuse board position. So Jason has got our new feeds from here over to our gallery area, which will feed our lights and our socket positions. You may be thinking, why on earth have you taken down the bird cage? Reason being, tomorrow is a very busy day. We have plumbers and electricians. The electrician has already run his services across along the floor, but a plumber has to do 2 of the MLCP pipe, I believe that's correct, which is going to run from the utility room along the floors, around, up into that corner, where we then take the 2 feeds up for both floor standing rad. Jason is back at the barn today. He is installing the sockets to the underside of the mezzanine area. So Jason's got, hey, have you got the cables here yet, Jace? Are they run down?
They're above.
They're above. So he's got them all up here. And then they're going to pop out the wall, come back down into the socket positions. But Jason is installing, where are they, Jace? Here they are. So these are fire and acoustic. So I take it something to do with that. If it gets hot at the back or if it's fire,
Gasket swells up.
swells up and yeah, stop the fire from coming through the socket, I suppose. Sorry mate, I'm in the way of the laser. But yeah, Jason's here. He's going to crack on today, get the sockets. I think he's got his mate Rooney upstairs. He's cracking on with Rooney,
Wayne.
not the Wayne Rooney. He looks like him a little bit. He's got the same hairstyle.
Well, it looks like he nearly put some weight on.
But we are waiting for the plumber, who is going to arrive very, very shortly. He's had a trip down from Essex, so stay tuned. He'll be here very shortly. We'll show you what he's going to be up to.
What? Oh, what do you want?
So after battling the M25 and that dreaded Dartford crossing for 4 hours this morning, Mike from Relion has arrived on site to get cracking with our plumbing. Mike has arrived from Relion Gas Services, that's the one. So he's getting all his gear and that in. He's had a hell of a journey down, got stuck on the car park, the N25, but we've just run through where he's going to start doing his runs. So basically we need to get from A to B under the floors, and then we've just worked out all our runs for where the cylinder's going in the eave storage upstairs, and we've worked out positionings for all of our bathrooms. So Mike and his boy, what's your name? Rob has arrived, and they're literally just getting all their gear out, and then they're going to make a start. So going to be a bit of a slow process to start, but then once we get going, this thing's going to slowly come together.
As far as days go on site, today was hectic.
We are getting everything prepared, ready for the underfloor heating to be installed. So the plumbers were in and got all of their services under the floor and clipped down. Jason's got all of his services in where he needs to, but it's now time to install our 1200 gauge DPM on top of the existing concrete floor. We are unsure whether the previous builders have put their DPM under the concrete, but to be on the safe side, we're going to be putting a new barrier across before we install our 80mm Celotex. As you can see, the floor is fully insulated, ready for our new layer of thin TPC or TPS to go on before the underfloor heating pipes go in. You may be wondering what these are for. These are to hold insulation down. Why, you ask? If you look at this, it's just all nice and flat, but with the temperatures and stuff that we've had, everything is cupped. So what we're going to be doing is using these. We're going to have to screw down and plug. This will go through, but we're going to go through at the joint. So that go through, and we'll screw and plug that down to the floor, which will hold this down so there'll be no bounce once the liquid screed has gone in. Jason has now completed all of the first fix electrics to the barn. He's got all of his light switches throughout the ground floor and upstairs, all the sockets and that are in, all the downlighters, and all of the feature lighting which is on the oak beams above us. It has all been run back, if I take you to where everything's going, into the utility area. Here we're going to have a tall tower unit which is going to house. We've got a double socket here which is going to run the router, and all of our Cat 6 is run round to all the TV positions. We've got a, what are they called that pull down? Projector, that's the one. We've got a projector coming underneath the gallery area which needs power or Ethernet cable, so all of the located points are run now back to the router here. We've got this box here which is going to house the fuse board, which is going to be in the back of this tower unit. We're going to have a removable back to it, or we might even cut around it just so that it's all easy accessible and everyone knows where it is. So that is this complete in this area. The next stage is the second fix, but we've got a little bit more to do after the plumbers have finished, when we can close up, really get cracking.
Now the floor is insulated and fixed down, it's go time for the underfloor heating. But before the underfloor heating pipes are installed, we have to lay a thin layer of plastic down called TPS, which protects our Celotex from the screed. Then it's time to let the boys from Rely On work their magic.
Oh.
Now the lads have got all their underfloor heating loops completed, they need to go through and purge the air out of each circuit one by one.
As you can see, the clients have decided to go with underfloor heating, which is great because this is such a large area and the heat output from the underfloor heating is going to work just perfect. But as you can see, Mike from Lion Plumbing or Gas Services has been in and installed all of his pipe work. We've put the plastic down, his pipes are on top, and now this whole ground floor is ready for some screed, which I am super excited about. There is some spaces missing. You may be thinking, why have you left big gaps everywhere? But the reason for that, we have an island situated here, so it's a waste of time putting any underfloor heating under there. This section here, oh, nearly fell over. This section here is gonna be where our spiral staircase is gonna be installed. So we are yet to have confirmation of the build up of that, but I did not want to put anything underneath it because we may have to fix something down to the floor. To the right of me, we have left a square meter out, and that is going to be for a log burner, which is going to be situated there with the stainless steel flue, which is going to go out the wall and up the side of the barn. You may be thinking, where on earth are all these pipes going to? But follow me and we will show you. Mike has installed a large manifold system with the pump and that on a bit of ply, which every zone for each floor, because you cannot run a continuous loop for the whole floor, a maximum of 100-meter runs at a time. So we've got kitchen, lounge, entrance, WC, utility, spare room, stairs, main bed and ensuite, all to this manifold. They are all full and pressure tested. We have our pump, which is situated here. These two pipes, which are coming down from the boiler, are going to come out, loop into this, and this is going to feed all the underfloor heating. We're going to have a wiring control center sat on the top of this, which is going to be underneath the oak staircase here. So we are going to build a nice unit around all of this gubbins once it's all done. So it's a new week and there's lots of things happening. We've got the roofers, we have Mark and his guys from EJS Solutions ready to do the liquid screed, but of course we have issues. So we've got the screed lorry, which has got to get down a very tight lane and into this driveway, and the entrance right at the beginning is a sharp bend and we do not think he's going to get in. So I've had to go and speak to the neighbours to see whether we're allowed access to park their lorry there with the pump, so it's less of a run straight into the barn. But for now, let's jump inside and we get set up with the boys and we'll show you how they set up and measure for how much screed we need. So you may be wondering what these little triangle tripod things are. So basically the boys are going round now and finding the highest point of the ground floor slab, which is this room. So they set these tripods at 50 mil from our Celotex to here. Then they're going to set them all the way around the barn with their laser, and then they can measure down from here to here and get an average of how much screed they're going to need. We're just going to have to try and fix this down. We'll have to get some blocks. It's typical. It's been absolutely scorching and the barn's been no air, no wind, no nothing. And the day the screed comes, the wind wants to pick up. So to protect the screed from any wind, which will prevent any surface cracking, we're going to seal up the openings, but they are quite large openings. So we're going to chuck some concrete blocks on the bottom of this, like so. And that will hold that in position and hopefully stop any cracking in the screed. So this is it, we're finally here, the floor is going down. So we've got a lot of people here today. We've got the main people from Brett's here as well. So this has been a long time coming. So let's get the show on the road and get this floor screeded. So as you can see, what the boys are doing as they go round, as the liquid screed comes out of the pipe, these tripods are set to their finished height. So as you can see, what Russell's doing there is going round. Because it's a liquid, it finds its own level. So obviously once they're in a certain room and all the tripods are hit to this height, they know they've got enough liquid screed. Once they've done the whole floor, we will then show you the procedure that they do once the whole floor has been filled up to its correct depth. Also, it's a big moment. The screed's going down on Mike's underfloor heating, which he's laid and filled and pressure tested. So I am staring at this gauge to make sure that that does not move. So I thought while the boys are still pouring, I just want to point out a couple of pointers why I prefer to use liquid screed over traditional screed. So obviously being a liquid with underfloor heating, where the liquid goes, it literally wraps itself around the pipe so you get better efficiency with the heat outburst or disperse across the whole floor. Where if it's traditional, I just feel like if it's not compacted and laid correctly, it just doesn't form a tighter seal around the pipes, which obviously the liquid, you're guaranteed that. So that is the reason why I prefer to use a liquid screed. Got yourself in a corner now. Looks totally different already, doesn't it? Looking good. Russ is coming across with the dapple bar and he's basically agitating and moving the pipework because it isn't a liquid screed. It won't just pump in and then leave it. You have got to do some work with it. So obviously you can see they cross dapple, so they go one way and then come back across it, just making sure that it all moves and then they're knocking it back flat, all fills in nicely, gets rid of all the air bubbles. So he's going to continue, get this finished, work his way out. Then we're going to put the sheet across just to try and stop, one, the animals. As you can see, we've plastic everywhere up. So we're going to plastic up the front to stop any animals, as we've got many deer around here. So we do not want them coming in tonight. So we're going to pull the plastic across, protect it from the wind, stop it drying out quickly, leave it to do its thing. And then we'll have a perfectly finished floor by the boys at EJS.
And just like that, 100+ meters of screed done. Beautiful.
Okay, so this is the second attempt of these tilt fillets which we've got to install for the roofers that are starting tomorrow, hopefully. We had to send the last lot back because they turned up and they was dreadful. Looking at this now, lay that flat, it doesn't look, yeah, same thicknesses. So obviously we're going to have our 5U up here, which is the eaves protection layer, then our felt, and then obviously the eaves tile will sit onto this to give the kick at the bottom of the roof. Yeah, so they're not great. They're all over the place, but green oak for you. So we're gonna have to sort through them because we want this bit to marry up so that the tiles run through nicely. Mind you, we're saying that, we're working with a barn which is 200 years old. Have I not told you before? So yeah, I don't think you're going to notice that much, to be fair.
We'll try another one.
We'll try another one anyway. But yeah, we're going to go round, flying all of these tilt fillets through, ready for the roofers, then we can start closing this beauty up. Anyway, that's enough of that. It's time to get these battens offloaded from the lorry, and then we can see where we're at with progress on the roof. All of our tilt fillets are now been fixed into final position. So what we're going to do now is gauge up for our eaves protection layer, get a chalk line pinned right through, start getting this on, then get the first row of felt all the way around the barn, then we can start battening. So we had the delivery yesterday of all the roofing battens, which we have stacked up ready for the roofers, but unfortunately our roofer has called us. One of the guys that work for him, his wife has been rushed to hospital, so he's unable to make it today. So what we're going to do is try and jump on and give him a hand. So we're going to get this by you, the eaves protection layer installed right the way around the barn, get this all tacked on, and then we can put the first layer of our felt on and maybe having a look at starting to set some battens out. But I'd rather they do it, because they do it every single day. But if it comes to it, we'll just crack on and get as much of this battened and gauged out as possible. It keeps us busy and it's progressing the job still. So after we managed to get the first row of our felt down, the roofers finally arrived and got to work with putting the battens down too. We was unaware that the scaffolding was moving around, shaking so much when people were stomping around. So we will speed you through this time lapse so you don't feel too sick. So this is the time I have been waiting for and looking forward to the most. The tiles are now being moved up on the roof by Mark and the boys. So we are putting the icing on the cake, and these tiles are going to look mint. But we have the tile bumper here because that is going to speed up the process. Even though the tile's been dropped that side of the drive, we're bumping them to here and they're going straight up onto the roof and being bumped out straight away, so that when it comes to laying them, everything's bumped out and it's ready to go. So you will be seeing the black eaves protection, but this is what comes down and sits in the gutter. So when your tiles come down here, like so, you're going to have that sticking out the bottom, which will then come into your gutter. This will protect from any sunlight. So if we had the normal felt dangling down, give it a few years, it'd be rotten and no good at all. So we have the 5U in there, it's going to be longer lasting, give it good protection, and last for a lot longer. And just like that, after many hours of hard graft, 13,500 handmade clays are on this roof. It looks mega. Inside, it's time to start closing up. Insulation packed neatly in between all of the studwork, followed by plasterboard in the ceilings and the walls, sealing off the spaces and giving a real feel for the new rooms we've formed. Upstairs, the gallery takes shape, with the new T&G flooring being installed. All I can do is apologise because I cannot keep up with how quick the boys are working. They have finished the plasterboarding. The rooms are now ready for the plasterers that are going to arrive next week to get this side of the barn freshly plastered. The rooms are all fully formed now. This is the stairwell. It's going to get dark. I do apologise, but we've got all the windows and doors covered over at the moment, and they are arriving very, very soon. So yeah, this is the master bedroom, all boarded up. We've got all of our first fix plumbing and stuff done, as you know. So yeah, very exciting now. Can't wait to get these all spread, get the ceilings, get the walls done. Then we can jump onto the joinery, windows, doors, door linings, internal doors, bathrooms, lots to be done. Can't wait to show you all. In the bathrooms, you'll notice that some sections have been left open. That's intentional. We still need access until the final decisions are made with the clients. Then comes plastering. Every wall and every ceiling plastered to reveal the clean, finished spaces. Look who just arrived. Rob from RJ Joinery has started to bring our brand new timber windows to be installed to this barn. So let's go and have a little look. So this is a beauty. So Rob's obviously and his boys have worked extremely hard to manufacture these windows to how the clients wanted them. So we have got beautiful Aroko, absolute beautiful. We've got 2-point locking system, and Rob's just shown the client this is obviously you can still ventilate, and it is fully secured with the window still venting. So what we're going to do, I am hoping that we've measured everything right and they're going to fit in just nice. This is a simple but vital job, one that we've all been very excited for. Frame by frame, a repeat process that really starts to make the barn come together. Okay, the lads have been downstairs installing the 2 sets of external opening bifolds. We are now up on the gallery area where we are now about to install this set of bifolds, but these are slightly different because this is a Juliet balcony. These are internal opening. So they're going to be some sort of barrier, metal railings which go across 1100i so that people can't jump out or fall out when they're up here. So, cameras rolling, let's get cracking. So it's as easy as that. The one thing we are missing is we've got a little handle which is going to sit on here so that when the door is open, you can pull the door from inside, but that hasn't arrived yet. It's on its way. So that is basically the door installed, and then we've got to do is the framework on the outside, speed up the insides, and then it's going to look just beautiful. We are outside, and today we are starting the weatherboarding. So we have some oak, which you have seen had been delivered, and we'd offload it in a garage. But we have had a few difficulties on trying to get our counterbattens all equal all the way around the barn. We're not going to be able to do that. So if I take you in, I'll show you what we've had to do. We have a distance between the brickwork, which was an open void. The previous builders put this sole plate on uneven all the way around this brickwork. So what we had is different distances between the brickwork and the back side of these kickers. These kickers are here because we had to basically give ourselves the airflow down this side of the barn and round the back. But obviously after doing that side, I thought it was going to look really strange and really odd. So we've had to now go around the whole entire barn, installing these little filler pieces which bring us to the back of our kickers. Then we've stapled mesh, insect mesh there. And then once that's folded back and the cladding board goes on, the weatherboard, that will stop any insects, any creepy crawlies getting up inside. It was a lot of work to do this, but if we take you around the back, I'll show you exactly how bad this barn is bowed, and you will really see it from around the back. So we have 4 inches from here, just over 4 inches, and if you pan down to that corner, we have about 20 mil. What we've had to do is put this filler piece in. We've put kickers on, which are about 35 to 40 mil. We've got plenty of airflow then, which that airflow will come up, and then when our cladding's sat on here, overhanging 20 mil, you won't see any of this underneath there, but that is sorted out, all that detail. Like I say, it's a lot of faffing around, but time to get this cladding on the barn. Right, so we have made a start on the front elevation with the oak weatherboard. So the way we install it, it is very random. It's a green oak weatherboard. We're not going to start getting in the reams of trying to get a pattern together so every cut, we just end up with so much wastage. So how we install it, first board on. We have a 30 mil lap. So your board will come over and give you a weathering of 30 mil. When you nail, we're going to be nailing just above, through this board and above this board, because if you go together, when they move, that board will split and they'll all just keep moving about and opening up. So you're clamping this board onto the top of that board. You never fix the two together so that if there's any movement, they move separately and doesn't split the board behind. This is the stage we have all been waiting for. From bare battens to beautiful green oak cladding, this is going to be an enormous transformation. Board by board, the barn starts to look like the building it was always destined to be. The oak cladding is already transforming the barn, but before we can finish the rest, there's one final and rather large job to complete. And oh boy, am I excited for this. It's time for these massive glazed screens. The day has finally arrived where we are going to be installing the front glass screen and the rear screen as well. It's going to be a hectic day on site. We're just waiting for Rob from RJ Joinery to arrive with all of the goods. He is bringing one of his men, and we're going to have one team of 3 on the front screen, another team of 3 on the rear screen. Fingers crossed everything goes well, because this is a huge moment for this barn. Right, that single piece of timber is the cross beam above the front screen. So the reason why we're carrying it in bits is, if you can imagine trying to transport this and lift it, well, we're going to have to lift it in one position, but Rob's made it in a kit form. That's why Rob is here today, to help us build both screens and try, well, we've got to, there's no try about it, we have got to try and lift this screen in once we've built it on the ground. We have just unloaded all of the different parts and sections to the front and the rear frames. I'm just about to have a chat with Rob now, because I haven't got a clue how this lot goes together, but we're all going to work as a team. So you've got that 3 over there standing, just about to listen in on our conversation of how we're going to install it. To save you lot listening, let's cut the waffle and just get to it. First, we're going to build up the H-frame with the middle beam and then the 2 sides. Right, so this is it. The first screen going in. So glue in all of the tenons, and then we're going to slot the section in, fix it through the side, do the same to the head, then we can push it up a bit tighter that way. Then, oh, here we go, we've got another main man here. Fly up now, look. How many men can you have fit a front door? ADHD brain took over there, lost my train of thought. We're going to glue, screw as much as we can, then stand it up, put the dowels in, which will then pull it all together just lovely. And of course, making sure we wipe the excess glue from the joints as we go. Now with the top half of the frame, it's the same process: glue, screw and dowel. So we're at final stages of putting the head on this frame, and then it is go time. I cannot wait to lift this up and see it in its final position. With that now in position and all going rather smoothly, the lads are going to get it fixed in place, level and plumb, while Rob and Lou make a start on building the rear screen. We are just putting the final screws in this front screen before we can start the glazing. Then the rest of us are going to jump through. Rob has built the rear screen with the bifolds in it. Time to get that one installed as well. So if you can remember when me and Rob, we'd done an Aaron and we worked out the opening sizes, this is the meaning what we was on about. So this beam here leans massively towards the bottom and that side does exactly the same. So what we're going to have to do, to which we said originally, is we're going to frame the inside and we'll scribe our timbers into the post. And obviously there'll be a kitchen here hiding this big section, thank God. And then we'll scribe the rest up to nothing. So main thing is it's in. While the boys were fixing our rear screen, Rob and Lou got our front screen all glazed. So that is all the glazing installed. So what the lads are going to do now is get all of the pre-made beads out. We're going to cut them and mitre them all around each individual bit of glass. Then we're going to stick security tape on there again, is that correct? Security tape on the back of the beads, get them all put in, nailed up, and then that is that, fully glazed. Next, we hang the bifolds on the rear screen. Exact same procedure as you saw earlier on, upstairs in the gallery. That is the bifold doors installed. I must say, what a great little system that was. Obviously, Rob's done all the hard work back in the workshop. Literally, all we had to do, everything was pre-drilled, lovely and simple, all the hinges on, doors were numbered, 1, 2, 3, bosh, done. So what we're gonna do now, chuck you on a time lapse, get all of the glazing done in this back section, bead it up, then it's on to fitting the front doors. With the rear screen all glazed, our front doors are now going in. Aaron and Rob working together to get them installed nice and easy. These are the centerpieces of the build. 3 by 4 meters, front and back. They don't just flood the place with light, they totally transform the face of this beautiful barn. With all of our screens in place, we can now crack on and finish the rest of the cladding, wrapping the barn completely with this beautiful oak weatherboard. With the outside mostly cladded and the scaffold finally coming down, the exterior was almost entirely finished. So let's head inside and take a look at what we've been missing. We have radiators in both bedrooms and on the gallery floor. So with the wiring centre all installed, that must mean one thing. We have power, boiler, on, heating, on. So if we have power, that must mean we have one thing. That is lights. First on the list is to get some flooring laid. We're starting on a mezzanine and then onto the upstairs bedrooms. We're using a gorgeous engineered oak system from UK Flooring Direct. Hopefully we've chosen a floor to complement every bit of the original timbers in this barn. That's right, we are on to the flooring, but it's not going to be easy. As always, as you can see, take a look around, walls, beams, oak, everywhere. And what have you got to leave when you lay an engineered floor? An expansion gap. So with us not having any skirtings, it is going to mean that we are going to have to scribe pretty much every single board around every single one of these bits of oak. So We've just worked out and got everything parallel to make it work to the biggest board sizes we can from front to back. We're going across the mezzanine here because that's the way that the client has asked for us to do, running with the ceiling joists, or the rafters, should I say, not ceiling joists. So Ryan's just about to start marking out our first scribe. It's going to be a long few days. Let's get cracking. And just a few minutes in, we hit our first hurdle. And yeah, this was a big one.
Don't fall in.
It's going to look so bad, isn't it? What do you do? That's just going to fill up with rubbish as well, isn't it? Really, they're going to have a bead roll around everything. I mean, we're just... Manufacturing specifications is 10 to 15 mil for the expansion. If you come and look at this, that gap around every single one is it's not going to look good. After hearing the news, I jumped straight on the phone with the clients and explained the, let's call it, unideal situation. All right, perfect.
All right, thanks, Danny.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye. Right. Scrap what I just said. So I've been on the phone. The manufacturers have said we need a 15 mil expansion around everywhere. The client are not happy with that, so we've had to meet in the middle. We're going to go with a 5 mil on the ends because this wood will swell or could potentially move widthways. Very rarely will it go the length, if any. So we're going to go 4 mil on the ends. We're going to go 8 mil around all of the main posts, trim that up, and then this way we'll be able to get a bead and silicone that nicely, get a masket man to come round the whole way around the outside to finish it off a lot better than it would be if we had to cut in a load of trimming around the outside. So with that decision made and the client's happy with that, we are now going to fix. We've pinged a line through to give us lines where we're going to start from. We're going to set these blocks in. So then what we're going to do is get the glue down, get this first run set absolutely perfect, and then start working that way, scribing around every single post. Let's go. Make sure we get this fully bedded. Right, first board down. 50,574 more to go. But even with the hiccup, day one came to an end with a grand total of 7 rows. Progress is progress, I suppose. Day 2 felt instantly better. Aaron was back from a day off, the morale was up, and thankfully, no more surprises were thrown our way. And just like that, the entire gallery floor was finally down. As you can see, the flooring to the gallery area is almost complete bar one little section. And that section has been left out for one magical reason. We have a beautiful oak glazed spiral staircase which is going to be installed here by us. So the reason we've left this out is until that turns up, we cannot finish this section. I didn't capture much of these rooms being finished, but honestly, it was the exact same process as the gallery. And just like that, all of the flooring for these 2 bedrooms is now complete. And now with all the engineered flooring upstairs fully installed, it was time to take on the giant task of downstairs. With the upstairs coming together, it was time to show the downstairs floor some love too. Billy and Joe from Second City Screed arrived to sand and refine the whole slab, removing all of the latents from the top layer of the liquid screed, getting everything perfectly clean before we move on to the final finishes. This is a very important process. The process is simple: sand, check, refine, repeat, all to make sure every square metre of this barn starts from the perfect base. With the floor now primed, we have one more job we have got to do, the spiral staircase. So the stair company have asked us to do a solid slab. So we know underneath this screed is 100mm of insulation. We got to cut this screed out, get down to the solid floor and build this back up to the finished height of our tiled floor. So me and Ryan just about to get this cut out, dug out, concreted, then we can get the matting down on the floor. Let's just hope we haven't gone through the underfloor heating pipe, shall we? That was either proper planning, because we haven't hit any underfloor heating pipes. What do you reckon? Did we plan for it or not?
Tried the nice way, but it's not having it. It's coming out.
We've been sent this drawing from the staircase manufacturer and it's given us our dimensions. So 1860, 950, but this one we are not doing because it's going to sit on top of the finished tiled floor. So this is the center column, which is this one. So it's 950, 950 from the oak beam above. Now all we got to do is solid fill this with concrete. That's going to lock that in. We know the weight's down there. Finish it flush with this, then we can tile over the whole lot. And then once it's tiled, the staircase is going to arrive. Then we've got to cut a 280mm diameter hole after the tiles have been laid. Next up was the crack mat. Step one was to ping a chalk line parallel with the external wall, the same width as the matting. Right, so that chalk line there is where we're going to start our first row of the Biotech, which is the crack mat. Let me show you the stuff that we use. This stuff is specifically for screeded floors. The reason we use this, it is expensive, but it's a pucker product. So this is only 0.5mm thick. We trowel it on with the 3mm trowel, really nice and wet, and then we basically roll it in with this roller, put some weight on the end of that, and then roll it in so it's dead flat. Then when the tiler arrives, Ryan, he will have a dead flat surface and he can crack straight on with the tiling and get this all tiled and looking beautiful. The process for this is pretty straightforward. Cut each run to length, mix the adhesive, trowel out a perfect 3mm bed, then lay out the matting, pressing it firmly into place. So basically now what we do, pinged our line, troweled out our adhesive, 3mm. These lines here, which you'll see are the trowel marks, okay? So when I put pressure on, these marks should close up. And then that is fully bonded to the floor. So Ryan's just gonna get a couple of bags of adhesive. We're gonna then load the roller up and roll this in. Oh. Ah. Now that we got the first 2 rows down, I think it's better we put you on a time lapse because this is pretty tedious. So the cameras are set, hit the time lapse. Once the first run is in, it's pretty simple. It's rinse and repeat. Believe it or not, I'm not a tiler every day, but this step takes ages. But it's absolutely crucial if we want these floors to look flawless for decades to come. So the day is finally here. Ryan and his boys are down to start the tiling. I know you've all been excited to see it, and it is finally happening today. So Ryan come down late last night and he started setting out for all the tile layout. So we're gonna have one full tile, 12 by 12, running central to the door. Then what have we done, Ryan? Have we worked it centered to the room this way?
Yeah, so we've centered the room this way, and then we've centered the tiles, so there's not a central joint. It's offset.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's centered this way, centered this way.
Perfect. So as you walk in the door, you'll see a full tile and then a full tile straight down the centre. So as you can hear, Louis is knocking up. It's time to get the first tiles down on the floor. That's right. I can't believe it. It's finally tiling day. A moment we've been building towards for months. What you're seeing here is a process called back buttering, a thin, even layer across the entire back of each tile, giving you the strongest possible bond. Then comes the notch trowel, spreading a perfectly gauged bed of adhesive across the entire floor prior to laying the tile.
Right, so we're using vacuum suction cups here with a 1200 by 1200 tile, just because they're a larger format tile. It just makes it easier for handling. As you've seen, we've already back buttered the tile, which is just putting a flat bed of adhesive on the back of the tile, which just helps getting a better hold. We've used a notch trowel on the floor, and adhesives all going in one direction, which is called directional laying. And then, as you can see underneath, we've got 6 clips on, so they're leveling clips, which just basically help you get the floor, the tile super flat without having a lip. And then we'll just use that, clip in onto the wedge, down, and then down you go. And then you collapse the bed. So basically, as we're moving it, you can see the adhesive's collapsing down. So the adhesive underneath, so this is now spreading out like this under the tile, which gives a nice solid bond.
That is how you lay a proper tile.
That's how you do it, apparently. Someone will say it's wrong. And then we're using these wedges, which basically these just clip in and make it flat. So they act like a vise and they squeeze together. So like, so it's nice and flat now. And then that just literally holds it in place. That's it.
And just like that, every single tile in the barn is officially down. Next up was grouting, and after that, a full clean-up to bring out that gorgeous finish. We have 2 staircases going in this barn. One being the big spiral staircase, which we are not manufacturing. The client has dealt with that. All we've got to do is install it. The second staircase is a little bit smaller, but still has a lot of work involved.
Okay, right, today myself and John are going to be putting in the main solid oak staircase. As you can see, we've got the initial top flight in on the newel post, temporary supported on the block and tackle, which is on a bandstand this side and on the existing oak beam this side. This helps us have a lot more freedom without actually struggling, and it helps us make really fine adjustments. This is an open ride staircase, so therefore we have to put it all together in situ. It's really tight. We've literally got about 25-30mm wiggle room, and we've got a 28mm notch on our supporting newel on the trimmer. Hence the block and tackle comes into its own, because we've literally got minimal room to twist this round, get it all built, because it comes down here. The string then returns down the wall, and then it returns at 90 degrees again down to here. We're going to have to potentially dry fit it on the angle, twist it in and hope it works, because it's literally to the millimetre pretty much. And we don't want to glue it straight away, because if we glue it all and it goes wrong, then it gets a little bit interesting. Now if it was a conventional staircase, we'd be sliding all the treads in from behind, the risers up, and then all glued and wedged like you would normally would, but unfortunately that's not the case. And you can see here we've got all the fixing holes that Rob the joiner's done, so it's going to be a fiddle. There's probably going to be a little bit of muttering, I'm sure there'll be some swearing, and you're going to be on motion capture, because it's going to be one of those days where it's a bit stop-start. It's going to be a little bit long-winded, we think. Hopefully it'll surprise us in a good way.
Yes, it was definitely a bit of a surprise. Mainly how long it actually took to get this in. This video makes it look nice and quick, but in reality this was days of back and forth, tiny adjustments, and absolutely no room for error. But as always, the lads have absolutely smashed it, and it looks unbelievable. Master en suite. I come in over the weekend to get this floor laid in preparation for the boys to crack on this week. Pete is on his way here at the minute. He is going to be installing the shower valve, the handheld and the rain head. And Aaron is going to be getting this prepared. We have a bespoke top. So basically we've got a stone top, a quartz top, which is going to come along the top and wrap down 200mm. But we've got like a half a 50p piece shape to come out here, where the basin's going to be recessed in there. So we're going to design that this morning, and that's what Aaron's going to be on today. With that said, let's get going. Need to be moving with pace this week, boy, because we have got loads to get done.
You best put them Crocs in sport mode then, Chavy.
Mine are always in sports mode, boy, don't you worry about that. Right, it's 900, 450. That's there. Plenty of room in there. Where's that shower screen going to come to? Would they get a metre? I think it'll be comfortable. Basin there. Toilet here. Oh, that was a bit of a messy one. Oh, straight in the shower. Job's good. This isn't from Easy Bathrooms. It says actual template, actual sink for most accurate cut. Please check. So back. I think it's either they've put the wrong template in for the wrong thing, because that is not right. Won't use that then. After a lot of thinking, a lot of marking up and drawing various lines, all done without the template, we finally came up with a rough plan for how this was going to work. Little bit of bespokery going on here again. Now we need to determine how wide he wants the front section. While me and Aaron were busy sorting that out, it looks like Pete can't stay away because he's back to give us another hand. We have somebody here who's going to be installing all of the shower valves and a toilet.
Whatever you want, mate.
Okay, yeah. Whatever, mate. So Pete is here today and we're going to get this shower valve installed along with the handheld and the rain head. We're just working out the basin. As you know, it is not your standard basin, so we've got to come up with some, higgery-pokery to make that look good. And then we've got the toilet going in there. Again, we've got a concealed cistern and a roll-top bath, which weighs an absolute... It's not a roll-top, is it? Is it called a slipper?
It's just a bath, mate.
Just a bath, mate. With that said, Pete's going to crack on with this.
I'm pretty good.
Ew, can you first fix our shower?
I would have thought so.
Pete got our concealed shower valves installed, and I must say, he done a cracking job of it as well. If you want to see exactly how he did it, go and check him out. Be a plumber on all social media platforms, if you want. The next day, Aaron come in and cracked on with the insulation and the Jacko boarding, and also installed the painted MDF panels around the basin units. Then the next day, I came in to help out with the plasterboarding and plastering the ceiling and the walls. This left us with just one final job for this video. So plaster is lovely and dry, or almost dry. We managed to get the slats on. Aaron's made his removable, what would you call that?
A waste trap thingy, I don't know.
Fully outy thingy, so that we can get to all the waste and stuff underneath the basin.
Access panel.
That's it, an access panel. So now I'm onto the tiling. We have a slight issue, I think, but the client is adamant she wants to use these tiles. These are a decor tile, and if you look closely at these tiles, they have a raised surface. So if you can imagine, all of these shower valves have got flat plates. So when these tiles go up on the wall and I push a flat plate to that, you're gonna be able to see, or water could potentially track down the gaps when the plate is on. Like I said, the client's adamant she wants these, so we're gonna have to go with it and we'll see what we come up with to make it work. As you can see, I've made a start already because obviously setting out the tiles, if we went a full tile at the bottom, it left us with a 30mm gap along the top, and with these tiles it looked horrendous. So what I've done, floor to ceiling, central, gauge down, it's going to give us a 205 cut top and bottom. That way it's going to look a lot nicer and you've got a decent sized cut to look at. So with that said, let's get these tiles stuck on the wall. Nearly said it, didn't I? Let's get cracking. Nothing is ever easy, is it? We won't moan about it though.
Do you know, when I was cutting them, they actually smelled sweet. It's weird. I was like, why do they smell sweet? Don't know.
Once again, we're using ultra tile adhesive. We're using the gel. What's it? Pro gel?
Gel. Pro Eco Gel.
Pro Eco Gel one, which
Exotropic flexible tile adhesive.
There we go.
Try saying that after a few pints.
We started getting the tiles on, making sure everything lined up nicely around the shower valves Pete had installed. Then we moved on to the large wall next to it. And that's where we run into a little bit of a problem. So we're having a little thinking and discussion because we are now at the shower valve. What we was thinking we could potentially do is lay 2 flat tiles just where this goes. But I think when you stand back and look at this pattern, it's going to throw us out, and I think it'll look worse than actually if we put this tile in, get this cut round it. I'll tell you what, we'll cut it round it, then we'll show you what it looks like.
Oh, blimey, governor.
What's the matter? now you can see flat tile, decor tile. This plate got to go over this. What do we do? Yeah, look, that's flat back. So if you come and have a look at that, Toes. What do we do? Do we mark it and try and cut the decor out, or do we go a flat tile? I think we need to have a FaceTime with the client.
Hi.
Hello, Tam. Right, it's your decision now. So, after a long chat with my lovely clients, we agreed to go with 2 flat tiles side by side, hoping it would blend in enough that you wouldn't really notice it. But then, I had a brainwave that could fix the whole thing. Alright, cheers, see you later, bye bye.
Bye.
Let's try the flat tile. I am going to try something though, because I think because of the way this back plate is, on the back here, the outside frame, this outside frame section here, is stepped back. So if we cut a little notch of this rim, it might get us back enough. The only thing, you're notching into the tile, but we're going to have to seal around it anyway. Let's try both ways. We're going to try both scenarios here, and then we'll send the picture to the boss and then see what she says. Obviously by the time this is, we'll have to put a clear bead around this, clear silicone, ever such a small bead. But I think that's right. Yeah. But they won't notice, they won't even know.
Until they watch the video.
Yeah, oh yeah, until they do that. And just like that, we carried on getting the rest of the tiles in place. We cut out the niche as requested by the client, making sure the pattern flowed straight through and tied everything together nicely. With the bathrooms almost completed, the spiral staircase has just arrived. Our last big job of this entire build.
I've got the bottom here.
With the spiral staircase now in place, the guys got it fixed down before installing the glass balustrade. Both Luke and John then gave it a full sand down before putting the final coats of oil, giving it that perfect finish this staircase deserves. So the staircase is now installed. It's not fully finished because unfortunately we had a couple of damaged panels. So once they have been replaced, this can all be glued and fixed up and clamped up, because at the moment it's not fixed. Then once that's done, it will enable us to then put our handrail and dual post that end, and this section here is going to be one solid piece of glass. and the same with a little bit of section. We've got a metre section the other side. So obviously where Joe is down there, when you look up here, it's not going to block the view, it's still going to feel like the big gallery area. It's going to look beautiful. While the staircase was being installed, Luke from Willow Tree Interiors fitted a beautiful custom-made one-of-one kitchen, adding the perfect finishing touch to this barn. So we have Live Down from Easy Bathrooms today because they have sponsored this whole entire build from the very start. So I thought it was a good time for Liv to come down and have a little look at what we've done so far.
Yeah, it's been amazing to come down, see everything that's happened. We've been watching the process, so it's been really good to come all the way down, make sure that Danny's doing his job well enough and making sure that we can see everything, and the bathrooms specifically, not that we're biased, but they look absolutely incredible so far, and we can't wait to see how it all turns out in the end.
Luckily, you don't have to wait much longer because the Derelict barn project is now, in fact, complete. 519 days ago, this barn was barely standing. It was derelict for over a decade, but look at it now. There is still some external works to be done, but boy, have we put some serious blood, sweat and tears into bringing this barn back, especially for this family's return. I can honestly say that there isn't a single section of this barn that we haven't restored. From day one, there has been so many obstacles, and I just want to say a huge thank you to my team for not letting that get to them. They have managed to turn this barn into a beautiful family home. And that wouldn't have been possible without the help of our main sponsor, Easy Bathrooms. They have backed us from day dot so that you guys get to follow these videos right from the very start. And most of all, a massive thank you to every single one of you that have tuned in to watch our videos from the start. So please do head over to Easy Bathrooms, take a look on their website, because if you need any bathrooms like these inside here, they will be able to help you out. But for now, please do me a massive favour, hit that like and subscribe button because we have some super builds coming your way.